Welcome to Sullivan Guitar Works Studios, and today at OGW we're going to be talking about the Behringer FX600 digital multi-effects pedal. So I purchased my FX600 pedal from Amazon. I got it for £20, and because I have Prime I got it next day delivery for free. Now I've seen the pedal also available from places such as Gearful Music for £21.70. I've seen it at Anderton's for £21.99. And I've seen them advertised as used on some Reverb accounts for about £19. I picked this pedal up because I was looking to play around with some of the Behringer series of pedals. I'd heard a lot of things about them. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and reviews about them, and I wanted a little taste of sort of what they're like firsthand. So as far as the specs go on this pedal, it is billed as the ultimate digital multi-effects pedal. Has 24-bit high-resolution stereo effects including flanger, chorus, phaser, delay, tremolo and pitch shifter. It has a status LED on the top for effects on and off and battery check. Operates on a 9-volt battery or with a Behringer PSU SB DC power supply, which is sold separately. Has a first-class electronic on-off switch for the highest signal integrity in bypass mode. It's presented in a quite nice retro-looking silver with red graphics color. I quite like that, and I think I mentioned in the overview playing section that I like the look of the pedal. The power input is on the side above the two inputs, which is the A input and B input. On the opposite side you have the A output and the B output. Now there are four main knobs on the front of the guitar at the top, and that is the first on the left is the level, which goes from minimum to maximum, which is the volume. There is parameter 1, which controls different parameters for each effect. There is parameter 2, which again is another facet of the effects parameters. And then the fourth and probably the most important of the knobs on the front of the pedal is the actual effects selector, which selects from the bottom to the top pitch shifter, trem, delay, phaser, chorus and flanger. So as far as competitors go, the Behringer FX600 stands kind of in its own place. Now this may sound like a really good thing to have really no rivals in your field, but it's not actually because of the effects itself. I would say it's more the price. To find an effects that has, you know, anything above one for £20 is very surprising, and it's a nice surprise, and that's obviously something we'll find out in the sound demos. Some of the competitors that are available when you Google multi-effects pedals for certain price ranges are the Zoom G1-4, which is a guitar multi-effects processor, and that comes in at around £69. There is the Zoom G1X4, which is the same as the G1-4 but with an expression pedal built into it, and that is £84 roughly. Another competitor would be something like the Line 6 M5, which I believe you can get for around £89 most places. They used to be around £150, but they've all kind of come down, and that has a lot of the similar effects, except it has added things like distortion and reverb. Another unit that I found quite interesting when looking through Amazon was the Donner Alpha Force pedal. It has a delay, chorus and high gain setting with individual controls for them. That's around £45.99. Not exactly the same effects as the Behringer, but something in that similar feel. Now this only features obviously 3 as compared to the 6 on the Behringer. Something of interest to me that I've noticed about the Behringer when looking through different websites and just even Googling multi-effects floor pedals, I see a lot of big name companies and really expensive, sort of between £99 to sort of £700 to £1,100 units. And amongst all of them, on every page I look at, whether it be Gearful Music or GAC or Anderton's, I see the Behringer FX600 sitting there, floating around at that kind of £20 to £22 range. It just seems like a real oddity that it's amongst all of these massive pedals with so many options and so many features, and there's just this little simple pedal still sitting there, obviously being bought. So let's head over to our sound tests and see what £20 worth of multi-effects pedal sounds like. So let's check out the Behringer FX600 multi-effects pedal. So here we have the FX600 from Behringer. We're going to have a look at some of the different settings you can get through the effects. The different effects that are available are a flanger, chorus, phaser, delay, tremolo and pitch shifter. Now it's an interesting way this is laid out, because obviously this is a single pedal, much in the form of most of the Behringers you'll find on this sort of base model. They're around, I think £20 this one cost me. I was really intrigued by it. I've been wanting to check this one out for a while, because I've seen a lot of the different Behringer individual effects and heard some decent things about them. Straight out of the box, I can say I do not like the plastic casing. It feels very cheap. I've bought a few cheap pedals recently, and in some of my other videos you'll see the Rowan noise gates and things like that, the Demon Overdrive. They're all metal bodies. They feel decent just because of that metal body. That makes a massive difference. When you're holding the Behringers and you feel the plastic on the case, it just doesn't feel tough enough. It just doesn't feel like it will hold up. And some of the seams, I'll try and get a better shot of that afterwards, but some of the seams where the two parts, the bottom and the top, meet, just don't quite match up. They kind of overlap, which gives them slight edges, and it doesn't feel massively quality to me. I really like the colour. It's got a really old school vibe to it. I like that, the silver with the red graphics on it. I really like that. I'm not a huge fan of the feel of the foot switch itself. It just feels very, I don't know, it's a bit rigid. It's not too bad, but it's not very satisfying feeling like a good click you get from like some of the TC pedals, or a decent sort of real depression feel you get from Boss pedals. That's probably just minutiae I'm talking about now, but the real important thing will be how this performs with the different effects and how you can fiddle with the parameters and such. So right now I've got nothing on. I'm just going through clean channel. Just clean channel on my Marshall, and I'm using my RG7321 in drop C. So direct comparison, this is my tone dry. We have the pitch shifter setting on, and I'm going to turn the level up to 12. Like a sort of octave sound more so than a pitch shifter. Now if I mess with the parameters, we'll see how that sounds. So I turn up parameter 1 a little bit there, see how that changes the sound. Sure, it's an unusual sound. It's not terrible sounding, it's just a bit odd. So let's turn up parameter 1 to 12 o'clock. Let's turn parameter 1 up a little bit more. Again, it's the same sort of thing. It's just not much difference really. Again, not much change. Let's turn the parameter 1 down, and we'll turn parameter 2 up to 12 o'clock. Interesting sound there. A very Korn kind of vibe to it. A very follow the leader kind of little lead interstitial parts. I have to say that's not a pleasant sound to me. That's not massively. It's got a bit of. Attack's a bit delayed as well. Let's turn it right the way up. interesting. So from looking at the leaflet that comes with the pedal, parameter 1 on the pitch shifter is the detuner, and that's for slight shifting for a fatter sound, it says. And parameter 2 is the semitone pitch interval. I've got both set at 12 o'clock and the level at 12. You can clearly hear the semitone, so I'll play. Personally, I'm not a fan of the sound. It's a bit messy, a bit clunky. I think with a lot more playing around I could find something nice, but personal preference, I've never been a huge pitch shifter fan, but I don't have any pitch shifter pedals. This is the only one I've got with that functionality, and that probably is because I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm sure someone can get use out of it. Not massively impressed thus far, but I will endeavour to carry on and try the rest of the settings and see what we find. Next is the tremolo setting. So levels at 12 still. Let's turn up parameter 1. Now parameter 1 for the tremolo is effects speed, and parameter 2 is shape LFO waveform. So we'll try that out and see. Nice and subtle. I quite like how subtle that is. That's actually quite nice. I quite like that tremolo setting actually. That's quite nice. It's quite natural. It's quite smooth. Let's turn it all the way up, why not, and let's see how that sounds. A nice sweet spot there around the 12 o'clock mark, which is a really smooth. Now let's mess with the LFO waveform and see how that sounds. I'll give you a note to ring out on so we can hear any changes. It's quite nice. It's a decent sound. I don't mind that tremolo sound. Kind of warms it up a little bit as well. I'll put parameter 2 all the way up. Much faster with both parameters up. Not a terrible sound for the tremolo. I don't mind that. It's actually quite natural. I've used a few trem pedals in the past, and it's pretty much akin to what I'm used to with them. Now onto the delay setting and the parameters for the delay. Parameter 1 controls the delay time, and parameter 2 is the delay feedback. So it should be quite straightforward to use. Let's have a ringing chord. little bit of delay there. Tiny bit of slap back on that there. It's an interesting delay. It's not the most clean, but it's not the worst I've ever heard. I've definitely used a few delay pedals in the past that were a little bit janky sounding. Just turn the parameter one up a little. Seems to have that 3-note 1, 2, 3 sort of slap back thing going on. If we turn up parameter 2. Slightly more decay on it. Getting some interesting sort of soundscape stuff there. Let's turn them all both way up. A little much there, a little sort of still going after I turn the pedal on, of course. Not sure that's really my cup of tea. We'll try both at sort of 12 o'clock. Terrible. That full setting for both parameters was really muddy and kind of a little bit too much of a swell on that. I mean, if you want it to sound like that, that's kind of cool and different. You could, something like this for the price they come, you could do some really cool experimenting with. So far, that's not too bad. I mean, out of the 3 effects we've tried, I quite like 2 of them. The pitch shifter, though, for me was just really not very good. Now onto the phaser, and on the phaser, the parameters one is effect speed again, and effects depth is parameter 2. Turn them back down to 0. Clear sound. Let's turn up parameter 1. Bad little phase. Sound, I don't mind that, that's quite nice. Terrible phaser sound. It's nothing dramatically like. If you like phasers, maybe you'll get more out of that. Again, it's an awkward one. I'm not